As usual, we have another presentation by Dr. Suhaila. Okay, the title actually was not been disclosed, but been disclosed by me lah earlier lah. If you follow my Facebook or Twitter. Okay, it will be good discussion. Good in discussion in terms of how we triage child with unusual presentation. So it is very unusual, it's very rare. So we are lucky to get into this room and then listen to Dr. Siti Suhaila. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Suhaila to present PCME. Okay.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all students on the floor. So I would like to start my presentation with the case scenario lah. So actually a medium-sized boy, about 1 year plus of age, was carried by his father to the triage counter. The third child was crying non-stop while hugging his father. So the presenting complaint was the child refused to walk and noted not moving his right leg. So I would like to call upon Dr. Mugiran to be the father and the poor baby and the triager lah. So at the triager, what do you want to ask and what do you want to look for? Okay, start. Afternoon.
Yes, the child is hardly like that lah. A bit bigger like this lah. It's not girl, it's boy. 1 year and half, 1 year and half. Carried by father at triage counter. You are the triage counter.
Okay, Encik, tadi adik yang ni siapa tu bantu?
Anak dia 1 tahun. Dia tadi dia main-main dekat shopping mall, lepas tu tiba-tiba dia nangis di tengah jalan. Senang kaki, kalau sentuh kaki kiri dia cakap sakit lah.
Cakap sakit?
Tak cakap sakit lah, tapi dia nangis kalau sentuh kaki kiri di tengah jalan.
Sebelum ni apa kita ni?
Okey, sebelum dia main-main dekat shopping mall tadi, okey, tapi tak ada orang nampak saya mengaku. Kalau sentuh kaki kanan dia sakit. Kita tolong cek.
Saya bawa parents, ayah dia masuk kat bahagian dalam kaunter.
Duduk hallway tu.
Kan dalam.
Okay, dalam kaunter. Okay.
Dalam kaunter sana kan ada bilik sana.
Alright.
Lepas tu saya tengok kaki dia. Orang bapak komplain ada tak boleh jalan kan.
How do you examine the child? Why the patient, the father is coming out macam mana?
Mula saya tengok baby masa datang nangis ke apa? Dia tengah nangis lah. So baby dengan nangis, saya assume dia punya airway adalah pattern.
You can see there, you can
So
see there.
breathing pun saya airway dia pun okey. Lepas tu saya check pada komplain dia lah. So dia komplain kaki kanan tak boleh gerak. So saya check kaki dia, buka kalau pakai seluar panjang, saya buka seluar dia, naik atas apa ke, ada deformity ke tak?
Dalam fikiran you apa? Okay, tadi tak ada. Budak tu sentiasa menangis.
Dalam fikiran saya
Sentiasa
mungkin
menangis, tak nak gerak kaki kanan dia.
mungkin
Lepas
ada
tu, you tengok kaki dia tak ada bengkak, tak ada deformity lah.
mungkin ada some trauma tapi macam parents tak sedar.
Okay.
So saya dah tanya parents,
Dia dekat mall kan? Dia dalam mall, tengah main
Main tricycle lah.
tricycle dalam mall. The possibility of trauma is there kan? Okay.
so ada trauma apa cik?
Kita tak pasti, kami tengah pumping dia tengah main-main. Lepas tu dia nangis.
Nangis.
So sekarang ni budak tu tengah sakit, nangis, ayah dia tengah luka, tak boleh gerak kaki. So you nak dia bawa pergi mana?
Saya ke yellow.
Yellow zone. Okay.
At least yellow zone.
Yellow zone. Okay.
Sebab airway dia, breathing semua okey. Sekarang ni dia baby nangis. So sekali pun dia pernah komplain sakit kaki, tak boleh gerak.
Okay.
So sekarang kalau pergi green tak pun. At least yellow zone.
Kenapa dia tak boleh pergi green?
Kalau pergi green dia baby satu hal, sebab mungkin rawatan untuk diberi pada dia tu agak lambat.
Okay, PPW Alfred. Okay. Berdiri. Okay. Setuju tak? Dia bawa pergi yellow. Betul? Kenapa awak tak nak bawa dia pergi green? Patient tu conscious. Bila vital sign tak boleh ambil dia. Tegas sikit lagi. Tegas lagi. Dia pegang tangan dia. Ada pegang tangan tadi?
Saya pegang kaki.
Pegang kaki okey. Okey, boleh punya periphery okey. Boleh. Kenapa tak boleh letak green? Siapa yang letak green? PPW. Semua okey. Siapa yang tak angkat tangan pergi letak green? Siapa nak letak yellow angkat tangan? Mana yang tak angkat tu letak green. Okey, siapa okey kes ni siapa nak bawa dia pergi yellow angkat tangan. Siapa nak pergi bawa dia pergi green? Okey, siapa nak bawa dia pergi resus? Okey, sekali lagi okey. Patient ni tahu tak kes dia? Bawa masuk, okey. Budak ni setahun setengah. Dia tengah main dekat mall, main tricycle kat mall. And then tiba-tiba ayah dia dengar budak tu nangis, tergolek atas lantai, terbaring. Lepas tu dia tengok kaki sebelah kanan dia tak boleh gerak. So dia terus bawa pergi ke ED, HKL. So dekat dia konten dia jumpa dengan treasure. So still lagi nangis, budak tu okey tapi nangis je. Tak nak gerak kaki kanan dia. So dia nak bawa pergi mana? Nak triage ke green, nak triage ke yellow ataupun nak triage ke resus. Itu senang soalan dia. Siapa nak triage ke resus? Okey, siapa nak triage ke yellow? Aku dah soalan ni banyak kali untuk bagi faham. Yellow. Makan gigi tak nampak. Okey. Cari non-stop. Non-stop. Yellow. Okey, siapa nak triage ke green? Angkat. Tak apa. It's okay. We are learning. We are not kita tak nak nak cari salah, kita nak belajar. Okey, kita nak okey. So you nak bawa pergi yellow. Okey, majoriti kita nak bawa pergi yellow sebab satu patient tu impit lah kan. So dia sakit. Kalau you bawa pergi green, nanti dia menangis kat green. Ayah dia anxious, semua orang anxious. Lepas tu dia orang ambil gambar video je. Tengok HKL buat budak ni pergi ke. So we can control that area. So if we bring the patient to yellow zone, because of benefit of that, patient may have traumatic kan, fracture ke apa, so dia sakit. So kita bawa dia pergi ke yellow untuk second assessment by medical officer atau house officer. So dekat yellow, house officer. Mana tadi house officer? Okay, so you bawa you bawa budak ni ke yellow zone bersama ayah dia dengan jalan kaki ke?
Jalan. Bapak awak.
Boleh. Okay, tak apa.
Doktor, ini lelaki 1 tahun lebih. Komplain kaki kanan dia tak boleh gerak. Bapak dia cakap sakit lah. Dia sentuh dia akan menangis. Dia kan menangis non-stop. Tadi dia okey doktor, main-main. Tapi tiba-tiba jatuh.
Okey tak? Nak air kopi?
Okay. So I think first we tengok the general condition and then we see whether there's any swelling on the feet or the leg. Then we try to
So first you kena introduce yourself. Quality interaction tak ada kat sini.
They are the organization in charge of the so
Interaction dulu.
they tell me what happened today.
You sini sikit. Mengadap orang. Kalau dia ada buat salah, kita tembak dia.
Tadi macam mana dia jatuh lah, tapi nampak dia dalam dia nangis. Kalau sentuh kaki kanan dia nangis lagi kuat. Dia tak nak gerak kaki kanan dia.
Oh, dia tak boleh berdiri atau sebelah. Then you kena tak ada.
Betul.
Oh, okay.
Betul kan betul.
Kaki dia memang tak boleh gerak lagi lah. Tak boleh gerak tak? Gerak kanan je, gerak kiri okey.
Okey, kanan.
And suppose and see any company.
Okay. So next step you akan buat gentle touching. Okay, examine the child. You think that patient is apa? Kan? So you want to examine dia, you examine kat mana kan? So, what is your impression?
Impression maybe the soft tissue injury or
Why the child is crying?
pain.
Okay. Okay. Where is the pain?
I think on the right leg.
What cause?
That caused the pain. Maybe trauma, he fell, trauma, fracture.
Okay. So the question that you being asked tadi, the focal history based on your impression lah. So you think the patient have trauma.
Yeah.
Sakit ni dia impression doktor adalah trauma. So doktor akan tanya soalan yang berkaitan dengan trauma. Sama ada dia jatuh ke, ada orang pukul dia ke. So accidental or non-accidental injury lah. Dia kena tanya soalan tu. Sebab dia baru tahu setahun setengah. Sebab ada orang tolak dia. So and then dia dapat localize the pain tu dekat kaki kanan kan. And then you kena buat, lepas you buat dental touching, focal history,
Then carry out the
system specific examination lah. So you need to you kena buat examination. Macam mana you nak examine baby budak setahun setengah dalam cakapan perak ayah dia?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you pegang anak you, tapi you lepaskan kaki dia supaya
Troli lah tu, troli datang. Troli datang. Okay. Kat bawah. Okay. Troli.
okay, you letak anak you kat atas. I think maybe because the baby is moving, so we can wrap it with the blanket. So that, yeah, so it's only that we only expose the racket so because the blanket. So after that, we wrap it, then we try to maneuver the leg, see whether there's any more pain on his feet.
Okay.
Then also see whether
Video
any
macam mana
obvious
dia
lesion.
budak tu balik. Bijak video tak payah video lagi. Okay lah tak apa, dia video tadi. Okay, jadi budak terbaring di atas rear budak. Doktor tu dia geletek. Actually, it's not painful. But it's not the real child kan, this is the real child. So actually, when we examine the leg, actually it's not painful. So there is no deformity, there is no swelling, tak ada bruises. Then kita pegang kaki dia tak, actually tak sakit. Tapi initially dia cry lah. Masa dia nangis tu kita tak tahu sama ada kaki dia sakit ke tak kan. Okay, selepas beberapa lama dekat AD dia tak sakit, dia tak nangis lah. Ni siapa lah insert line dekat kaki kanan dia? Tak apa lah. So make sure kalau you ada patient kalau affected limb is over the right side, do not attempt to go IV or blood taking over the affected side. So ambil sebelah kiri So dia ada lagi kan limb kan. Okay, budak tu you pegang tak sakit. apa you plan nak buat? What is your impression?
I think maybe
Okay, ya, dulu. Okay, discussion. MO discussion. Faizal. So, aku nampak knowledgeable. Okay, so you tak tahu nak buat apa kan? Okay, panggil MO. Dia luzon medical officer K2 Rescue. Okay. Alright. Budi budak ni terbaring kat sini. Lihat video, tunjuk balik video. Faizal tengok balik. So you happen to be at this side of the patient, and then Kenneth, tangan Kenneth tu gerak. Bos tak sakit bos? Tak sakit. Budak dia tak nak gerak, kaki kanan dia tak nak gerak. Tangan dia gerak tak? Oh, this happen. Kadang setahun budak stroke. So, tadi kaki kanan tak nak gerak, tangan kanan pun tak nak gerak. Okay, Fijan. So Dr. Faizal, dia bagi dia Fijan. You berbisik kan buat dengan Faizal?
Oh, right leg. Then when he touch his right leg, the baby starts to cry. So the we in the right leg don't see any obvious deformity. There is no pain on stimulation.
Okay. Yeah, father is here.
So based on the history wise, I would like to...
Are you happy with the history? Because of physical examination?
So, I think where we exposed there's no opportunity. We try to stimulate the seat the child.
Okay, tak apa. Itu dia dah mereka-reka.
What was your impression?
Impression? I think maybe the fracture or maybe the
Okay, you can ask the father, but she will answer that. Okay. Now between you and the father and the child. But the father is here, so Haila akan jawab lah, kerana dia tak tahu. Okay. Apa soalan yang tanya?
Persoalan because the exact mechanism of injury was not explained very thoroughly because I don't know what actually really happened at that time. On the point onwards, actually the father only claimed that the father only saw the child was on the floor. So actually there was no exact mechanism of injury there. So on top of the line, because this is trauma case, I would suspect it's a minor.
Anybody tak faham tu translation? Faham eh? Okay.
So because initially when the father gave history, the child was playing a tricycle. So the diagnosis wise, I would think first of all it's a trauma wise. You have to remove the fracture. Plus actually the kids was crying, so you cannot really exclude fracture at that time. So I would like to agree if there is any X-ray by the survey done for this patient. Is it really memang ayah tak nampak langsung the exact mechanism?
Tak nampak.
Okay, masa dia jatuh tu dia ada macam pegang ke tangan kanan ke tangan kanan. Berapa umur dia?
Setahun nanti.
Oh, setahun dah boleh berbasikal. Oh, ikan lah.
Oh, dah ada anak belum?
Dah ada nak basikal lagi.
Anak dia memang dia main steadily.
Dia main cepat sangat. That's why the history wise pun macam very suspicious lah. The history tu
So
macam
kalau you rasa patient ni ada trauma, with the physical examination macam tadi, patient tak sakit pun, do you still proceed with X-ray?
because that one tadi I think tentu video kat ward kan. The child was initially because they pain yang menangis.
Okay lah, tak apa. Kalau bayangkan this is the video dekat
That one, from that video, actually I can conclude the child looks very calm, but then it's actually an obvious deformity, obvious unilateral of the right side reduce of movement. So I would like not to say anything stroke lah, but it could be a pathology on the higher up because I cannot suspect the injury occurred at the same place of the right hand and also right leg because there is no pain stimulated at the patient. So but first I think have to do the primary survey X-ray first. If the X-ray is clean and also you suspect the patient is calm, there is no pain stimulus, then only have to see Pastor Juben.
Okay, so
I think another one diagnosis that have to be included because I think 1 year 6 months if I compare with my child not playing tricycle, I think you have to include also an AI lah, not accidental because otherwise this is
part of the trauma punya scenario. Okay,
So actually the child was
what is really happened lah. This is what really happened. So okay, jadi kita dengar cerita sebenarnya.
So at the secondary triage, the Vinson noted BP was not recorded lah, noted that patient crying, heart rate was 130 and he was a fever. So actually about 30 minutes of waiting outside, the anxious father actually knocked on my door lah. It's not his turn yet.
He went to grill.
He went to the
Okay, is this a true story? Siapa nak dia punya MA dia dah diberitahu oleh Cik Azman tak? Dia manage sakit macam ni. You ada dia punya PS dia punya PhD ada. Ada apa tak? Nanti Cik Azman ada tak?
Dia macam ni. Kita nak tahu gambar sebenar masa pesakit datang, baby tu datang, dia ada continue menangis kan. Itu je. Kalau daripada mekanisme kita nak tahu dia basikal boleh main jatuh. Kalau budak 1 tahun semua dia tak boleh kayu basikal dia. Mungkin dia sepanjang-panjang. Dia panjang. Kalau dia jatuh macam tu dia bukan jatuh daripada atas ke bawah dan impact dengan kaki. Tidak kita fikir itu. Mungkin dia jatuh dah lebih kepada tangan dia, mungkin soft tissue injury. Tapi kalau mungkin pada masa dia di pasar raya itu memang mampat dekat dia menangis. Tapi bila dia sampai di kaunter, kondisi pada masa itu dah berubah. Punya expectation dekat triage pun dah berubah. Mungkin kita tengok baby dah mungkin dah kurang sakit, dah kurang nangis. Dia daripada isteri yang ini boleh bagi jiwa saya tidak salah. Kan? Pada masa dia datang kaunter, kita tak boleh nak tengok kata dia menangis, bapak menangis dekat pasaraya kan. Dia buat mari ke kaunter. Mungkin masa tu dah tak ada masa. So mungkin kat kaunter baby tidak dalam
tapi according to the father waktu hari tu memang dia kata
Apa dia cakap kat triage? Kat triage, bapak ni cakap kat triage cakap apa? Kita tahu lah.
Tapi dia cakap the first waktu yang dia masuk tu dia rasa anak dia patah kaki.
Dia cakap benda ni kat triage tak? Ya ke tak?
Tapi dekat
kalau kau lah bapak, anak kau bawa macam ni, kau bawa pergi ke green tak? Itu sedikit apalah empathy and understanding of the situation.
Masa assessment tu penting. Kalau ada di komiti yang tak nampak. Tapi kalau kita tak boleh dengar cerita bapak dia bapak dia cakap anak saya patah kaki, bagi orang semua cakap dia emergency, dia bukan hospital punya experience. Dan bagi dia semua emergency. Tapi di situ kita perlu tengok dan perlu tenangkan dia, access betul-betul. Kalau daripada cerita dia, budak 1 tahun bukan boleh kayu basikal yang just mungkin yang kaki yang 4 roda ni dah sepanjang-panjang. Dan mungkin bukan jatuh macam ni. Dia kan dia kata, anak saya patah kaki. Betul, kita punya terakhir dia access. Kalau dia nampak yang di deformity, ada swelling, ada shorten, dia tak akan hantar sana. Kan? Dan pada masa itu mungkin baby dah pun dah tidak kata dalam respon mungkin dah drop pada 3 kan? Jadi kalau dia buat assessment daripada mekanisme, daripada pada masa itu saya rasa tidak boleh disalahkan 100% pada jiwa.
Apa yang kan kita kena lebih cekap dulu ya. Kita kena lebih cekap dulu. Budak 1 tahun 6 bulan dah boleh berjalan tak? Boleh jalan. Budak 1 tahun 6 bulan dah boleh berjalan. Mana-mana budak 1 tahun 6 bulan itu aktiviti biasa kan. Tiba-tiba dia dapati dia tak, he cannot wait back, you know. It is an emergency. It is a worst case scenario is a fracture of some sort. they have to think about the worst case scenario. If you're the father of this child, would you be happy? You know what? You tahu pemahaman you sebagai MA, sebagai anggota perubatan lah, ada pemahaman perubatan. Kalau ni berlaku pada you punya saudara sendiri, you puas hati. Tak apalah, puas hati ke? Come on, we must be better. I know benda ni susah. Tapi saya saya nak pastikan yang MA yang dia tahu benda ni berlaku. Supaya di masa akan datang, bila dia tengok ada budak yang budak 1 tahun 6 bulan dah boleh berjalan kan, tak boleh berjalan, think about fracture. It shouldn't be ingrained. Patutnya hantar ke katil kan. Jadi you can immobilize properly, barulah betul. Bukan suruh dia bapak dia dokong terkapai-kapai pergi sana. You know, that's the worst case scenario. You don't ada sedikit keprihatinan lah. Betul tak? Kalau you sebagai anggota perubatan, you kata macam ini okey, tak apa, saya tak setuju. Kita boleh buat yang lebih baik. Okay?
So after because of the anxious father, so history memang like just now lah, 1 year 6 month old boy. So the onset of the symptoms actually 1 hour prior to the visit. Actually child was riding a tricycle lah according to the father, and then after 10 minutes dia tak nampak apa jadi sebenarnya, tapi noted the child was on the floor crying lah, and child refused to get up and walk, and father noted the child was not moving his right leg.
Remember the history may not be, mungkin tak dapat masa primary care. Saya pada kata sibuk-sibuk kata nak dapatkan rawatan kan. So primary care je mungkin kena improve pada segi sensitivity tu. Mungkin budak ni patah. Because the common, there is ada diagnosis yang common lah untuk patient yang baru berjalan dengan budak yang baru boleh jalan. The common fracture at this age actually dia panggil cast fracture, childhood associated spiral tibia fracture. It's quite common because the bones dekat the mixture of the tibia tu is very weak. So kalau dia twist sikit, dia boleh patah. It's common lah, dia akan datang macam ni lah. So initially I thought it's actually cast fracture. So actually it turned to be something else. Okay.
So on examination memang dia crying with tears lah waktu tu. So
It was seen by the medical officer dekat grade.
So noted his right leg was flaccid lah, not moving at all. Externally no obvious deformity or swelling noted lah. Tapi peripheral pulses proper. So at that time I asked the father to put the child on the couch baring. Waktu baring tu then noted that actually the child was not moving his right upper leg as well. So waktu tu memang dah tukar diagnosis dalam kepala, dah tukar lah like okay, is this child having right-sided hemiparesis ke? If in adult is common stroke kan. So in child differential waktu tu mungkin dia ada brain tumor.
Was that at this time the case was discussed to spread it?
Lepas tu I got specialist asked to PhD neurosome first lah.
Okay.
So ni urgent imaging dia nak reassess back in the yellow zone. Okay, so at yellow zone further
How long that patient been in green zone?
about 20 minutes plus lah. Terus hantar yellow zone.
And how long that patient was in the medicine department before you see the patient?
Dia sampai pada triage tu, tapi dia kata kalau ikutkan waktu dia sampai
Because busy kan?
triage tu
Patient was in the G1 or?
Berapa lama tunggu di green?
dia actually tak sampai lagi turn dia, tapi pada dia just masuk, dia kata boleh tak bagi dia
Anak dia menangis tau, dalam kesakitan tau. Anak dia menangis, engkau sebagai bapa, ni anak engkau 1 tahun 6 bulan menangis tau. Betul ke ni hantar pergi green? Bapa dia hilang sabar, pasti tak betul nombor kan. Ketuk itu doktor, anak saya sakit. You know, something's wrong. Something's wrong in our triage. Sometimes bukan sebab medical ke apa, you faham perasaan orang. Kau apa ni? Tengah hari you kena faham perasaan orang macam mana. Kalau ditanya tepuk dada, tanya saya lah. Saya kata, kalau ni berlaku pada you punya anak sendiri kan, katalah abang you orang medical, you MA staff ni, abang you bawa macam ni, you puas hati ke tak? Tak apalah, kita boleh buat yang lebih baik. Patutnya masuk. Dia berhati dia dalam kesakitan. Budak kecil bapak ni pun cemas kan. Terus ke yellow. Ini ada Abu kata tu, don't depend on the pulse rate apa benda. Some prihatin, some activation of senses. You understand this is apa? Masuk yellow tu. Terus you tahu kan, you clear kenapa ni? Doktor, budak 18 bulan patutnya boleh jalan kan. Bapak tu kata dia tak boleh jalan. Kaki dia ada tak gerak. Saya takut ada fracture. Kan? Jadi takkan kita nak hantar kat klinik kan. Kalau fracture, kita kena immobilize. Macam mana nak immobilize kat klinik? Kita tak betul. And please our MOs in yellow green, please jangan, kalau ada mistriage, jangan marah triage. Tolong jangan buat macam tu. Kalau you tak puas hati, you call specialist. Specialist akan slow talk dengan baju hijau nanti slow talk. Kalau ada salah, please don't do that. Jangan sampai triage takut sebab ada yang bengis yang kurang ciuman punya MO. No. Sangat bahaya. Biarlah up triage. Biar error of up triaging. Jangan error macam ni down triaging. Can you imagine if it was a real fracture? Half an hour of non-immobilization, it can cause more damage, more neuropraxis, all the neurological complication. This is really serious lah. Apa lepas ni nanti kita identify PhD ni, kita boleh kalau masa tabligh kita skill balik. Yalah nasihat lah. Secara memelihara kain pada memelihara maruah dia. Kita tak tahu siapa kan. Saya tahu lah, kita tahu tiba-tiba. Come on, we have to be more prihatin than this. Faham kan ada empathy ni, bapak ni dalam cemas ni, faham kecemasan dia, faham dia punya faham dia punya perasaan dia. Sampai dia ketuk pintu lah. Doktor anak saya, macam tu, kesian. Kita sepatutnya lebih prihatin lagi. Itu yang quality interaction tu. Quality interaction tu termasuk dengan perasaan empathy, prihatin. Okay, teruskan. What happened?
Okay, so pada history, actually child was previously well until 1 hour prior to the visit lah. No URTI symptom, no AG symptom, no issue of recent travelling ke, jungle trekking ke, swimming ke, to exclude any other infection. Immunization was up to age, birth history was unremarkable. Developmental history wise, memang gross motor, he was actually able to run up previously. And then family history, grandfather has CVA, however no history of young stroke or epilepsy in the family. So vital signs taken at that time, noted BP 122/68.
Is it normal for that?
Actually, tapi not noted that patient crying ke apa, but actually ikut graph tu is above 99 centile lah. It's quite high for that patient. Pulse rate 135 per febrile, the show stick was 4.9.
Beratnya kalau centile tu ada tampak kat dinding. Ada tampaknya dari mana? Big swab ni, big swab. Oh, kat kita tak ada. Tolong apa yang punya ubat, tolong tampalkan kat dinding ni lebih gitu. Okeylah nanti you buat tampal.
So on examination was fretful, stranger anxiety, however stayed alert to surrounding, no facial asymmetry, no dysmorphism, no neurocutaneous stigmata, pupil equal and reactive. Cardiovascular examination, unable to appreciate any murmur. Lungs was clear, abdomen soft and distended. Neck stiffness, get reflex present. CNS examination showed right upper limb and right lower limb had one hypertonic, power about 2/5, hyperreflexia and the bubbly outgoing on the right side. However, left side was normal. So at that time, the impression is actually right hemiparesis for investigation. Initially, we planned for contrast enhanced CT brain. However, at that point of time, child parents refused for blood insertion and blood taking lah. So we just proceed with plain CT brain and the child was given chlorohydrate for sedation. Okay, so this CT brain was done in our ED, no intracranial bleeding noted, no hypoden hyperdense area. Noted macam brain asymmetry, tapi on the formal report they say it's due to tilting positioning. So, tak ada apa. So we referred to PIT team and he was admitted to the PIT ward. So progress in what? Eventually the parents bagi ambil darah, so blood investigation sent all normal, the white cell, the full blood count, linear profile all normal, including the C3, C4 normal, the anti-nuclear antibody was also non-reactive. Thrombophlebitis screening is still pending. So So 2 days later, they proceed with MRI brain, which
Baru
actually
boleh nampak sesuatu.
showed hyperintensity lah. The diagnosis was left middle cerebral artery infarct with right hemiparesis. So
Stop. Ni semua bagi keinsapan. Go back. Bagi keinsapan. CT scan, siasatan CT scan, kejituan dia kurang. Kejituan kan, the fidelity of a CT scan detecting strokes dalam mengesan angin amar kan, patologi ke tumor ke. Kalau CT scan biasa tak nampak. CT scan brain. Sebab itu kita minta kalau boleh nak bagi kontras kan. Kontras tu dia akan diambil oleh sel-sel hidup, akan nampak lah. Kalau sel tu dah mati, ada stroke, sel tak nampak, hypodense region. Tapi budak ni, bapak ni tak bagi cucuk kan. Sampai macam tu sekali tu, anak dia dah terlampau kesakitan. Dia nak suruh bagi apa? Bagi pasak berani lampu, dia tak bagi. Dia tak bagi. Okay. So it won't show anything. Sama dengan ada, kalau dia baru kena stroke 2-3 jam, sometimes one day kena stroke, dia ambil CT scan, may not show anything. It's in the literature. It takes time for the hypodensity to be pronounced. Dah 2 hari barulah dia buat MRI, tengok gambar MRI tu. Ni sangatlah canggih ni, pakai elektron apa benda lah kan. Positron apa benda. And then they will inject, dia pasang granula ke tak? Masa ni dah pasang granula, they will masukkan isotop kan, isotop yang ada radiasi, isotop technetium ke apa benda. Akan di apa? Mana tempat yang yang macam mati tu, yang necrotic tu, yang stroke tu dah akan apalah, nampaklah. Tu kat dia punya apa? Nama tu? Left middle cerebral infarct. Budak kecil pun boleh ada infarct. Apa sebabnya? Fitz kata apa?
sebab saya tak tahu.
Tak tahu sebab. Tak tahu sebab.
Tak ada sebab.
Tak tahu sebab. Dia ada lah. Dia kena siasat. Macam-macam dia buat. Dia masih belum tahu lagi lah. Setakat dia dah berapa hari dah tak buat.
Dia dah discharge.
Oh, okey. Dah discharge lah. Siarnya maknanya memang power 0 5. True. Ya Allah. You tak sedih lah, budaknya akan cacat semua hidup tau. Betul tak? Kalau bapak you discharge, you tinggal apa? You pergi dapatkan kemasan tu orang kat depan, dia kata tak apalah, boleh jumpa pergi dulu. Sekarang anak aku cacat.
Seperti
ingat tu?
kita ni dia dengar yang dia kesakitan.
Kita tak tahu actually dia nangis tu
Kesakitan
sebab
tak tahu.
sakit tu atau sebenarnya dia tak boleh nak gerak. Sebab
Betul.
dia boleh nangis
Kesakitan yang dia nangis. Jadi
tak tahu.
sebab
Tak ada
disebabkan
pasangan.
dia tidak.
Mungkin masa tu dia tengah sakit kepala, BPDB,
Ataupun kalau dia tak boleh
hipertensi,
nak gerak.
emergency, apa.
Lina yang siapa buat? Senang 18 month old boy.
So actually child was discharged after 6 days of admission and given PCA pitch neuro in 1 month lah. So upon PCA, child is well, ada a little bit motor improvement. He was able to sit unsupported tapi still unable to stand lah. So they plan to repeat MRI ring in 6 months time. Okay. So
Any literature about strokes happening kan with hemoptysis in infants?
So a little bit on childhood stroke lah. It's actually a rare disease in children. Estimated incidence 0.6 to 13 in 100,000 of children per year. So it has significant impact on mobility lah, in which then 25% of cases will die, 25% will have recurrent stroke, and about 66% of the cases will have persistent neurological deficit, seizure disorder, learning and developmental problems in the future. So the clinical presentations depend on the etiology. So if the child has ischemic stroke, they will be presented with focal neurological deficit, hemiplegia, such as in this case. Or hemorrhagic stroke, the child might have headache, altered mental status, but we need to bear in mind that the younger the child is, the more non-specific their symptom may be. So the risk factors according to the age group juga lah. So older adults have similar risk factors macam adults. So in younger children, those with the congenital heart disease, with sickle cell disease, all can increase risk of getting stroke. Okay, However, studies showed most common cause of childhood stroke is arteriopathy, about 53% of cases. 25% of them is due to the focal cerebral arteriopathy, which the etiology was unknown, probably multifactorial. So other non-vascular conditions that mimic stroke that we need to rule out is tumor, brain tumor or other structural brain lesion, and intracranial infections include meningitis and brain abscess. Okay, so this is actually MRA done on that patient lah. The arrow shows segmental narrowing of the left middle cerebral artery.
Why is the artery middle cerebral artery otak kanak-kanak ni kenapa dia narrow? Don't know. Don't know lah. What is narrow?
Initially, actually, waktu neuro review patient dekat ward, diorang punya impression is acute thoracic paralysis lah. Secondary most likely due to spinal cord injury. Itu diorang punya
But then we
initial.
have evidence of this.
Itulah lepas buat MRI baru.
What causing the narrowing?
Narrowing currently tak tahu. Dia trombophilia screening dia still pending. Yang lain semua normal.
Ada investigation yang tak siap.
So the treatment actually depends on the etiology lah. Such as in this case, ischemic stroke, the main aim is to prevent recurrent stroke. Acute setting, maybe we can give low molecular weight heparin, but secondary stroke prevention, we use antiplatelet, sirap aspirin lah, 1 to 5 mg per kg per day. Role of thrombolysis or thrombolytic agent, RTA, currently not used in child age less than 18 years. This is because many research was done to actually to look for the effectiveness and the safety on the child lah if you use thrombolytic agent. And the fact that usually the diagnosis was delayed after 24 to 48 hours lah, so it's beyond the time interval required for the use of RTA. One study done in US in 2007, in 2,000 children, about 1.6% was given thrombolyzed age 9 to 11 years. So they noted that in thrombolyzed children, no symptomatic intracranial bleeding reported, but the children that they thrombolyzed needed mechanical ventilation more frequently and the hospital stay is longer lah. But a lot of limitation in the study. We need more research to be done. So ini the flow chart of the ischemic stroke diagnosis in emergency lah. So the presentation, like infancy, they can present with seizure, irritability. Like children in this case, can present with the hemiplegia or other focal neurological deficit. So our role in ED is actually to give supportive care. So every ABCD lah, every breathing, circulation, we need to cover. And then if we suspect of
It
meningitis,
is for disability termasuk sugar and temperature control.
so if we suspect meningitis, start antibiotic early or maintenance of the normal blood
When
glucose.
your impression in meningitis, before you proceed with CT brain, bagi first dose of antibiotic. Boleh?
Was antibiotic given at this time? Please kata nanti dia lah.
Okay, so our job to get the detailed history, to do the complete physical examination, then we can proceed with the neuroimaging. The gold standard is actually MRI lah, but our setting it's quite difficult to get urgent MRI, so proceed with CT to exclude ICD, and then all the other investigation to rule out the process. Okay, so issues to be discussed lah. I mean, in the triage itself, the recognition of the sick baby themselves. Maybe in this case, maybe lah, we don't know. At the triage, mungkin anak dia actually dah come down ke, that's why the triager hantar to green zone. Tapi for me, it's quite challenging lah to actually to recognize a sick baby lah. Sebab kadang-kadang diorang tak tunjuk the symptom that readily express lah. So however, we need to able to look for all the emergency signs, the priority signs and the non-urgent signs lah. Okay, so the emergency sign, the classic SARS cases lah, patient with respiratory distress, severe respiratory distress, sinus baby, all the shock baby, the pulse rate, cold clammy hand or unresponsive baby, convulsion or dehydration, all this is the classic SARS punya symptom and sign, so we need to send immediately to SARS lah. So noted that purpuric rash pun actually is an emergency sign. So we need just to bear in mind if child presented with fever and then ada purpuric rash, the 6 bulan sebelum rash, so we need to actually think of meningococcal disease. Okay, and then if we exclude all the emergency sign, so then we need to look for the very urgent sign, priority sign. So in this, they noted that inconsolable cry is actually a very urgent sign lah. Tapi crying child is actually very subjective. Kadang-kadang kita tak tahu whether the child is actually in pain or whether actually the child having stranger anxiety, frightened by the unfamiliar environment. So we need to dig deeper lah. Ask the parent, dalam kereta tadi dia okay, sampai sini baru nangis ke. So we know actually how to assess lah. And then acute focal neurological deficit, memang tak ada emergency signs such as in this case, tapi we need to bear in mind we need to do urgent imaging and intervention lah, because the management is actually time dependent. I mean the longer time we take to actually intervene, so maybe the prognosis will be more poorer.
DCS.
DCS dia okay, and then another thing, activation of acute stroke protocol in the childhood stroke. So in adult, if presented with acute stroke, kita activate the acute stroke protocol kan. But in children, in Malaysia, tak ada lagi this protocol, but some hospital in Western country dah start lah to activate the acute stroke protocol in children. So actually, I think this is quite patutnya kena buat lah kat sini. At least we can alert the fixed neuro team earlier, and then we can alert also the radiology department. At least we can obtain urgent MRI. So diagnosis can be achieved early, then management can be started. Okay, role of imaging, as I mentioned just now, gold standard MRI brain because it's more sensitive. Role of CT brain is actually to exclude ICD je. Ischemic sign memang hard to visualize in the first 12 hours lah. So ada je earlier changes in the literature, tapi I mean the orang yang betul-betul have sharp eye lah, yang boleh nampak the earlier changes in the CT scan. Ini the earlier changes lah within the 6 hours lah. So yang ni is actually the hypo-attenuating of the brain tissue. Nampak macam hypoden sikit. Usually the first 2 to 6 hours lah nampak, tapi it's quite very vague lah. Memang tak adalah nampak sangat. And then the insular ribbon sign, it's actually hypodense area dekat insular cortex. And then the hyperdense middle cerebral artery, because of the embolus that stuck there or the thrombus stuck there, so somehow increase the density of the vessel. Tapi ini memang susah lah untuk kita tengok sebenarnya. So take home message, actually what to improve in our management. First is early recognition of the stroke in children lah. So memang tak ada siapa pun terfikir sebenarnya that child ada stroke kan. Kita semua duduk fikir ke rumah. So tak tahu lah, memang kena treat the patient as a whole lah sebenarnya. And the main thing is actually involve the primary team. Kita involve the primary team pun after kita mesti implement this practice along the time. Okay.
References.